This video exists solely to prep you for the modulation video, and we're going to be covering these tabs down here and what they do so that you will be prepared to understand the tabs below them, which is where things can get really cool. But if you don't understand these top ones, you're not going to get anywhere very fast. So this top row of tabs is just the different things that we can control within the Fruity Love filter. So for example, we could alter the panning. And I'm going to go ahead and link things to mod X for now just to demonstrate it. But if I go ahead and link it up to mod X and I move this X control around, which is what it's talking about, we have an X and a Y, I can alter the panning of the sound like so. So that's what this is for here. Now, up next after panning, so we can move left to right, we have volume. So volume is pretty straightforward. It's just a volume modulation. You can have it low, you can have it high. So we're able to change this over time. And this is, as we get into more and more examples of use cases, you're going to see times where you might want to grab one versus the other. We might have a set of 4 filter banks, all have their volume off right here, while the other 4 have their volume up. And so we could create like some cross filter modulation where we can sort of morph between 2 sets of filter banks. So that'd be an example of one way we could use the volume control. We've got the cutoff. This directly controls this knob right here. So we could go ahead and move that down. And in this case, since we are on filter 4, it's not going to work. We want to be on filter 1. And let's go ahead and move it. So that's moving the cutoff. Doesn't look like it's moving because there's no visual link. Maybe someday. That'd be kind of cool. But for now, you're just going to have to imagine it, but you can definitely hear it. We can also link the resonance up, and I want to make sure I do these in isolation. So we can move the resonance around. And if we move it to somewhere a little more resonancy, let's go for a different filter. Let's go for the Lime low pass. And let's go ahead and bring this up some. So there's a good example of the resonance. And we can link this to all kinds of cool things. We'll get to that in the modulation video. So that is resonance. After this, we've got low, band, and high. So this is directly referencing the variable state filter right here. And if these things are down, it's not going to matter what we do because they're off. So if we want to hear this, I'm going to turn the low one on. And if we move this around, but if I bring this down, the highest it can ever go is whatever this is set to. So this is already at 0, so we won't hear anything. So if you don't hear anything and you're wondering what's wrong, that could be the problem. So that's the low. We can also do this for the mid band. Come over to the mid band. And of course we can do that for the high band. Just grab this. And you see we don't hear any difference because we need to have the high band on. And then we have the Waveshaper. We've already talked about this in previous videos, so I'm going to go ahead and just direct you to those. And then we've also got the Waveshaper Mix. Now this controls the mix knob on the Waveshaper. So if we turn the Waveshaper on, we're going to get that nice lovely wave shape sound, but we can mix it in and out. The effect can be mixed in parallel. So what we could do is we could come to Waveshaper Mix, and we can link this up to a modulator and have it turn the Waveshaper on and off in cool ways. So those are the tabs on top. That's a demonstration real quick of what each one does in isolation. And then obviously these tabs, although basic by themselves, become extremely cool and very useful as we get into more complex ideas, especially when we start combining multiple filter banks and we get into the notion of moving multiple parameters over time automatically instead of, moving an X control alone. We can have things start to move just on their own. We could even have it respond to an envelope as things are coming in. There is really just a ton of power that comes here, but you need to understand what these are doing. Otherwise, when we start setting up modulations, it's just not going to make any sense. Like, how do we know what's controlling what? One other thing I should say here is something is active if there's a yellow band next to it. A yellowish orange band. And this is important because when you're on different banks, different things will be on and off. And another thing that's also important to note is you can see that on tabs that can't be modulated, the modulation tabs don't appear. So if you don't see a modulation tab, you're probably on the Waveshape page. All you need to do is click off it. It's actually gotten me once or twice just because it's not common. It's the only one that does that. So you're kind of like, where'd the stuff go? And that's probably what happened. If you have any questions about this, let me know. Subscribe and hit that bell icon for future videos. And have a blessed day.